Welcome back to Friday Night Live. I'm in the company of Sean Whetstone from the podcast. More than just a podcast, he's a West Ham fan sporting his tie with pride. And also Flash Gordon Watson as well. Looking ahead to all of the big games tomorrow and on Sunday. Remember, Saturday live from 2 until 5:30 p.m. We'll take you across all of the action with a bit of betting thrown in. Now let's look at some more fixtures from the English Barclays Premier League. West Ham, they host Queen's Park Rangers tomorrow. I've got a feeling Sean's got a bit to say about this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a London derby, isn't it? So, you know, it's not going to be a free-flowing game. It's against Harry. You know, we have a few problems with Harry, even though he's an East End boy.
What are the problems?
Well, I guess he thought he was bigger than the club, and some of the things he said when and of course going to Tottenham and going to manage Tottenham for a West Ham fan is enough. And I won't go into all of the other things in transfer dealings and everything else.
That's quite interesting. So is it Tottenham is your closest rivals, you'd say? Is
well,
it West Ham,
Millwall,
Tottenham?
but since Millwall don't play in the Premier League, then it's Tottenham. That's the biggest.
You hate Tottenham, don't you?
Well, I wouldn't say personally I hate Tottenham, but I dislike them quite a lot.
That's funny because that's a West Ham saying they don't like Tottenham. Chelsea fans say they don't like Tottenham. Yeah. QPR fans saying they don't like Tottenham. And Arsenal, they really don't like Tottenham. So poor old Tottenham.
Well, poor old Tottenham. They missed out on Loic Remy, but Harry's managed to take him to Queen's Park Rangers. First impressions of the signing?
Well, he said today in the paper, didn't he? I don't know if it was your paper. It's not about the money. I mean, what a ridiculous thing to say. It's not about the money. You're going bottom of the table. It's not about the money. And he could have. I mean, I know Newcastle could have been in a scrap as well, but it seems ridiculous. We were apparently looking at Remy as well, but you know, we've got our two strikers now. It will be a typical London derby. It will be tight. I think a goal either way will separate them.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that you know we've got our two new strikers as well. Andy Carroll's back in Newcastle with the family, so he's not quite ready, but he's back in training. But we've got the Brazilian, Wellington, and we've got Shamak, of course. And, you know, I know Arsenal fans have been giving grief and saying thanks for you know, paying his wages, or half his wages, if that's to be believed. But, you know, I fancy it. We've just brought him in for headers. We're going to whip it in. There you go. Shamak, bang.
Matty Jarvis from the left, Joe Cole from the right. Job done.
Yeah. Opposite way around. So you get Joe Cole from the left and Matty Jarvis from the right,
yeah.
Cutting back onto his right foot. And that is actually the only way I see them getting any joy at all. I don't think they'll get joy in the open games. I think the Queen's Park Rangers will try and stifle them. It will be a case of getting a third man run, like Collison when he's got his... Collins got a couple of goals. It will be going down, cut back, whip it in, because the big problem that Queen's Park Rangers have in central defence and also their midfielders, they don't see the threat early enough, and when the ball goes into the box, they get under it. So that's the real opportunity. I think Queen's Park Rangers really will frustrate them, though.
I think you might be right. You know what he did last summer? He picked up his P45 from Spurs, but he's gone to Queen's Park Rangers and looks as though he's going to save them. He's got a half a chance if he continues to bring in players like Loic Remy.
Yeah, I'm delighted to have finally got him to come to the club. You know, he's a player that I've looked at and watched an awful lot. You know, watched him play for France and watched him play for Marseille and over the last couple of years. And you know, when the opportunity came to try to get him, we went for it. And I've got to be honest, a week or so ago, I didn't really feel that confident about it. And the chairman wouldn't give up on it, and I think Tony Fernandes did an amazing job, in all honesty, in getting the boy here. You know, so a lot of credit goes to him.
I heard Kevin Bond doing a bit of a telephone conversation on the radio on the way here, and he likened him in his style and what he does for the team to Thierry Henry. That's some name to live up to.
Well, it's you know, Thierry Henry was an amazing player, wasn't he? So I don't think you could compare too many players around the world to what, you know, to the standard that he set. But his movement is fantastic. You know, he's quick, and you know, I've always liked him. As I say, he was a player that when I was at Tottenham, we looked at an awful lot, and the price was way beyond. You know, was very high at the time. So I felt that, you know, that the level he came down to and the price in the end was was a good price for a player of that quality.
Why Queen's Park Rangers?
Parce que Queen's Park c'était un club dont je connaissais déjà l'entraîneur. Il me suivait depuis un petit moment maintenant. Parce que j'avais aussi envie de découvrir la Première Ligue. C'était un championnat dont j'ai toujours rêvé de jouer. J'ai jamais eu la possibilité de pouvoir venir en Angleterre. Et voilà, Queen's Park m'a ouvert les bras et j'ai dit oui tout de suite.
Why did you choose QPR? Because I already knew the coach and they followed me for some time now, and I wanted to play in the Premier League. It's a dream of mine. I've always wanted to play in the Premier League, and I'd never had the chance to come to England. But QPR were very open. They wanted me, so it's great to be here.
Loic Remy reading from the Premier League handbook and coming out with the usual cliches about why he's decided to join West Ham. There is a...
West Ham? QPR?
Sorry, QPR, sorry. They play West Ham tomorrow. You wish you had him. There is a serious side to this because during the Vita you were talking about the finances. Just tell us the point you wanted to make.
Well, I guess Harry, didn't he? He was saying that, you know, I'm not going to waste the owner's money. Tony Fernandes, a West Ham fan, by the way, who owns them, wanted to buy West Ham, couldn't, bought QPR. I don't know what that says about QPR. But he said, I'm not going to waste the company, you know, they're still bottom. What's changed, Harry? Well, and it's like Harry always says these things. He says, I'm not interested in Momo Diarmi, and the next minute he's making an inquiry. You know, come on.
Good player, by the way.
Harry says things and then does the absolute opposite.
He probably does.
There needs to be a translation for Harry. Under any time he does a press conference, there needs to be a translation of what Harry really means.
Now, look, two things I want to put to you. If you were Loic Remy
yes.
and you say, I don't want to go to a club, you're playing in France, or say a French club wants you, and they're in the bottom three, and you say, I don't want to go, and they say, here's some money, and you say, no, I don't want to go, and they throw more money at you, what do you do? Because I just want you to put yourself in Loic Remy's position.
Yeah, it's very difficult because, first of all, he's actually changing countries, so he's going to have to take advice on that one. Are you going for the money? Are you going to further your career? I mean, he's probably been sold the story of there's millions to be spent to play. I think personally Remy's come because he has been told that other players are on their way, and he quietly licked his lips. Oh, and by the way, here's 80 bags a week.
Well, have they got a better squad than you now?
No, absolutely not.
Are you happy with Sam's dealings?
Yeah, I'm. You know,
talk us through.
We are dealing with the money we've got. You know, we're still in debt, and I think there's a lot of clubs still in denial of just spending what they can't afford. And I think both our chairmen, passionate West Ham fans, are spending within their means.
Well,
and
hang
that's
on a minute,
right.
because you say about Harry, but the guys came in, Golden and Sullivan, said they were spending too much at West Ham, and then they went and gave Andy Carroll 100k a week.
Well, if you believe he's on 100k
well,
a week.
He is on 100k a week.
I don't believe he's on 100.
Why?
It's a big amount. It's a big amount, I would agree. But you're right. Sometimes their heart rules their head, and suddenly they are doing it. And they've got history of doing that. And Joe Cole as well. But, you know...
Marwan Shamag, look what he's on.
Yeah,
He doesn't
we're paying 50% of that, apparently.
Exactly.
So,
can you afford to do that?
Well, probably not, but we're looking at the 20+ million we're going to get. I think they're doing a little loan and thinking about next year and saying we must get through that. But look, he's done some frees, you know, the loans, Joe Cole on a free, you know. I think it's good business. We're playing within our means, I guess. And yes, you could make the point that we're paying too much for Andy Carroll, and you could make the point that Andy Carroll hasn't really delivered the goals. But it was an opportunity, I think, too good to turn down. And who knows, the goals could still come second half of the season.
But they haven't yet spent a lot of money for no return. Now, Sam Allardyce, got to tell you, being charged by the FA this evening for his comments about Phil Dowd in the wake of Wednesday night's defeat to Manchester United. Give me a reaction to that, because he seemed to be just expressing what a lot of West Ham fans thought.
Sam is very media savvy. OK, I've met Sam on a number of occasions. He's very media savvy. He knew what he was doing. When he said that wasn't the red mist coming down. He knew that was going to get him in trouble. People said straight away that was going to get him in trouble.
Why would he do it if he knew
Well,
he
he's just got his payoff, hasn't he, from Keane and Blackburn, and I thought he wanted to move some of it maybe back to the FA. But I guess sometimes it's about the point he wants to make. And he probably said it was worth the fine.
Has he made the right point?
The thing is, again, it's one of those that when you're the leader of your ship and he is captain of the West Ham ship, the players will look to him to be their voice or and they will follow in. So for me, if he says right or wrong, he's always going to be right. And go back just about the West Ham squad, by the way. What they've done that the other teams that come up didn't do is they've got Premiership players, even if they're only average. They know week in, week out, they're going to be 6 out of 10, so they've got a base straight away. They're not going to be like rabbit in the headlights. They know how to get a job done. With a little sprinkling of fairy dust, you don't need to go and buy 6 or 7 players.
Sure.
And so they've got a good foundation.
Prediction time?
Well, I've said already it's going to be 1-0 West Ham with a Shamak header. There you go.
Okay.
You're going to be sectioned, you keep this up. You know that. I could have gone with a 1-0, but Shamak header. Is that Shamak header to score?
I'll tell you a story here. There's an Arsenal fan who tweeted out, I don't know if you've heard this, he tweeted out that if Shamak scores 6 goals this season, he'll buy everyone an iPhone 5.
No.
And if you retweeted it, it's been retweeted like thousands of times. So he's going to have to buy. If Shamak does,
I think he's quite safe to be
if
fair.
if he does score 6 goals, it's a lot of iPhone 5s.
One very brief question before we go to a break. If Sam Allardyce does get goals out of Shamak, what does that say about Arsene Wenger?
It says that, but Sam's known for, fixing broken players, isn't he? And unloved players and changing them around, I guess. Wenger's his own man, but I guess if you don't play the Wenger way, he's not one to give them confidence. He drops them. And Robin Van Persie came back in and he was dropped and his confidence went. And the rest is history.
Give us your score prediction first and then your view on Shamak.
I've gone for 1-0 Queen's Park Rangers.
And Shamak?
Shamak, I think that if he's going to do it, he's got to do it at West Ham because they fire all the tools that he wants. He loves to get on the shoulder. He loves to get across defenders in the box. And when the ball's coming in and the way they're shaped of going into the box, if he fouls now, then it's hasta la vista.
Queen's Park Rangers 1-0. Shamak on goal?
No, I think I'll probably go for someone like a Tarap free kick.
Tarap free kick, okay. I'm not a big fan, but there you go. I think Newcastle-Reading is one of the games where there could be an upset tomorrow. Reading won only 2